Okay, so today we're going to talk about 10 things that don't let us be happy, or we can say 10 enemies, 10 things that obstruct us from attaining true happiness. So these are called as 10 fetters in Buddhism. And I'm taking true happiness, meaning arhathood, or the total pure liberated mind. But even in mundane worldly life, we can think of it as happiness, right? Buddha-Dhamma, Buddha's teaching is totally aimed at ending of suffering, or in other words, happiness, being happy. So, what stops us from being truly happy? So, the first thing the Buddha says that stops us from being happy is self view. Self view meaning that this body, this conscious body that we have, this body and mind, that this is our self. So when we think of this body mind, this conscious body as our self, then we become what? We become self centered people. We become narcissistic people, selfish people. So all the time, we can only think of is us, us meaning this body mind. So, what will benefit me, what will not benefit me, and willing to do anything right, wrong, good, bad, just for the sake of personal benefit. And here we are talking more in terms of kind of unwholesome benefit, even selfish benefit, not in terms of doing something that is really good for you, you know. So exercising so that your body remains healthy, or reading something or learning some critical reasoning so that your mind is sharp. So that is not selfishness. That is good things. That's a part of the path, the fourth noble truth. So that is actually that can be in fact helpful to take you towards liberation, enlightenment, and just being happy. But when you think of selfish gains, you know, you meaning this body again, this conscious body, gaining at the cost of others, at the cost of other people, at the cost of other beings like animals, at the cost of environment, maybe cutting down a lot of trees and stuff like that, making a lot of pollution, whatever, in whatever way when we act, in which personally we gain, but over in the overall scheme of things, other beings or nature itself, environment itself loses. So that is, I think, one way of understanding this first factor. First thing that obstructs our happiness. And the irony here is that we do all these things thinking that it will make us happy, right? If we already know that by doing something we are going to suffer, and we are like totally 100% clear that this is going to make us suffer, then we will not do it. At least hopefully we'll not do it. But it's more of, I guess, kind of a wrong view where we're not able to see things clearly. So we say something or we do something which we think will bring us happiness, but actually brings us suffering. It may cut us off from other people. It may cut us off from kind of like morality, virtue, our own self worth, those kind of things, right? So selfishness, in one word, selfishness, taking this body and mind to be ourselves, to be an abiding entity that we are gonna survive forever and will do whatever it takes to make personally myself happy, in a bad way, unwholesome, selfish way. So that's the first thing that makes us unhappy. Second is doubt. You can call it self doubt or spiritual doubt also. Now, in a way, this second thing that makes us or keeps us unhappy is in a way contrasting quality to the first one. So the first is doing everything selfishly for the sake of this body mind without any regard or consideration for others. Second thing is constantly doubting yourself. Am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the right thing? So if you're gonna do something wrong and there some doubt is coming, should I do this or not? That I think is a good thing actually. That will be under Buddha Dhamma, it will be moral shame or moral fear. So where you are worried about consequences of doing something wrong. But here, this second fetter, second thing that keeps you unhappy of doubt or spiritual doubt, this is more of like you said, spiritual doubt. So this is like you're gonna do something good and not just like meditating or keeping the five precepts or being generous. Even I think uh, probably in daily life, you're going to do something good in your work. You want to take some initiative. You want to try something new, something good, something wholesome, something creative, entrepreneurial, anything. But this constant self-doubt that I will not be able to do this, or I am not good enough, or constantly second guessing your decisions. So of course we are all learning, right? So our decisions may be wrong, and a lot of times they are wrong. That does not mean that we should keep doubting ourselves, because then it's just kind of like debilitating, and you are just stuck. You're not moving forward, and anyway, we don't want to go back, but you're stuck. So if you make a mistake, you learn, right? We make mistakes, we learn. We say to ourselves that okay, fine, it was a mistake. I will not do it again. But don't let it kind of stop you at a certain pace so that you're not able to move ahead. So, like I said, this is to me, in my understanding, it's opposite of the first one. So, first is selfishness. Second is this self doubt and constant self doubt, and also in terms of meditation and practicing for enlightenment or at least stream winning, first level of awakening. This means doubting in your own ability to attain awakening, or at least the first level of awakening in this very life, as per the Buddha's teachings. Which brings us to the third fetter, which is attachment to rituals and vows. And in a way, second and third are linked also. That when we doubt ourselves, either to accomplish something in the world or to attain our spiritual goals, our mind takes us to things that are not really healthy for us. And I'm sure, living and being brought up in India, most of us can connect to this, right? So anytime there is some issue, some difficulty in our life, a lot of people, a lot of maybe Brahmins or Pandits, would they say that, wear gemstone or do this, do that, do this puja, havan, go to this particular temple, go here, go there. So again, as per the Buddha's teaching, what is happening here is that there is a issue, there is a problem that is arising from your own mind. Okay, that issue can be greed, it can be anger, or it can be delusion, fear. You are just not able to see things clearly, and so you're totally confused. But now, instead of solving that problem at the source, which is in the mind, from where it has arisen, we are depending on an external entity, something outside of ourselves. It could be God idea. Some people say God created men and stuff like that, but there's also this understanding that no, it's actually human beings, men, who created the idea or concept of God. And in a way, there is no such being up there with 2 or 4 hands or feet who has created everything, and something like that kind of childish ideas, maybe some people say. So it's more like for psychological security, for mental peace, maybe you can say. It's us, it's people, human beings who have created God as an idea, as a concept, for something to rely on, something to kind of, put all your tensions out, kind of a thing. And not the other way around, not God creating us, something like that. So the idea being, so what is making us unhappy here basically? So first was selfishness, second is self-doubt, spiritual doubt, third is attachment to rituals and vows. That doing something externally, a particular puja, a particular havan, a particular wearing a particular gemstone, doing some astrological, numerological remedy. So these things will solve our problems. Now I will say a little bit of a maybe a disclaimer here. Okay, so I am not enlightened, right? I am not an not even a stream winner. So I am not 100% sure that these things totally don't work. So I am not making that claim, okay, that none of these things totally don't work. I'm not saying that. The problem is that if you go this way, and I've tried a little bit personally also researching on these things, a little bit maybe practicing, little bit, whatever. So problem is that there is a lot of danger. Like it's kind of like when you are entering a dark area, you are trying to find something that can maybe help you or suit you, but it's a really dark game, and you can kind of uh, get lost in that darkness. And it may be really extremely difficult then for somebody to come out of it unless they get a really good, advanced, wise mentor or teacher, something like that. So why bother? My point is why bother? And especially again in a country like India where people like maybe 99.99% plus in this field are out there to kind of loot people, like fleece people off. Then why? Why rely on these things? What Buddha is saying is rely on yourself. Don't rely on anything outside of yourself. Don't rely on rituals. Don't rely on stones. Don't rely on God entity, anything like that. Again, maybe objects for some people may serve some purpose. Maybe a pen to me serves some purpose. Maybe a particular diary serves some purpose. That's a different thing, right? Functional utility, it's different. But when it comes to solving our own problems, go to the source. Self here means mind. So relying on yourself means the problem is arising in your mind. Solve it in the mind. Go inside. Go inside this heart and mind. Meditate through breath, do loving kindness. Solve problems inside you because they are coming from inside you. Outside things will not help you put a proper solution to your problems. So don't go towards rituals and vows. And even if you're practicing something good, don't do it in a ritualistic way. The idea is to do it with joy and love. So these are first three. Okay.